today our topic is going to be impacts of coffee as a global commodity. So today what you will need is a pen or a pencil and handout, which I just passed out. So today's lesson, the goal of it is to be able to understand, demonstrate this understanding of cities, movements of people, and vitality of coffee as a commodity. Before I begin, do you guys have any overarching questions? Yeah.
What is coffee?
So coffee is typically a drink from which it's a plant that you distill kind of what you drink out of it through the process of using hot water. You consume it and it kind of gives you a rush of energy.
Okay.
Thank you. No problem. Any other questions? Yeah? Okay. So to start off, we're going to talk about how coffee helped us transition to a more cosmopolitan society. Do you guys know what being cosmopolitan is other than the alcoholic drink?
Magazine.
It is a magazine as well, but cosmopolitan just means more modernized cities. So coffee pretty much did this through its own culture. So coffee culture began in the 17th century, and it was a high demand. And typically it took place in capitalist centers and reflected modernity. So it was the first time people really began to gather together and exchange ideas. Have you guys heard of insurance? Insurance was actually developed because someone had overheard each other talking about how much money they were indebted to their whoever they were paying. I think it was over housing insurance maybe, but they decided to invent insurance based on listening to people's conversations at coffee houses. So lots of ideas were passed around there, and as a result it caused large immigration influxes to these big cities, and it kind of transitioned everyone towards a more modern life. And it also was the beginnings of capitalism. And this is shown through the ideas of imperialism. So do you guys know what imperialism is? Imperialism is just when a bunch of European countries went into Africa, South America, and Asia and pretty much demanded slaves and used resources and extracted them for everything. But it was also the foundation for imperialism, for capitalism. And as a result, many people didn't like this way of life. So anarchy resulted, which means the belief in no government, and it created tension among cross cultures. So it started to, coffee itself was a big reason why there was tension between capitalist nations and, or imperialist nations and these newer nations. And overall, it's a critique to the capitalist state. So I have some videos for you guys to watch. Let's see if we can get the sound to work, because that'd be cool. Yes?
I can't really see the screen. Is there a way you can fix that?
Yeah, can we get a light down? Okay, thank you. Can you hear this? Doesn't matter, it has no sound really, but this is kind of a quick view of what coffee was like. So that was just kind of like a nonverbal version of the brief history of coffee. Pretty much it just explained that coffee is a big resultant of the church. So the church had a big part in kind of saying when coffee was allowed versus when coffee wasn't allowed because of the association with it being a speed drink. Because when you drink coffee, you feel a little bit more amped up. So pretty much they said that feeling could cause people to defy the church, was becoming a religious society, which is also why we moved towards more of this cosmopolitan society. So that's just kind of explaining the video. So for your guys' homework tonight, you're gonna go home and I'll have the video slide, it's like all this posted, and you'll watch your brain on coffee. It's just a 3.5-minute video talking about what coffee physically does to your brain and how it alters your state of being. So kind of talking about the collective memory of coffee. So there's some key elements with coffee. So it's number one, become part of most of our everyday lives. If not, you're definitely probably aware of someone in your life that drinks coffee or at least knows of it. And it has the ability to alter our culture, whether that's for a good or a bad thing. Specifically in the early times of the Enlightenment, when coffee was first introduced, it caused a lot of people to change their minds on religion, and it caused society to move towards more cities. So that's where we're getting that ability to alter culture part. People's opinions over coffee has also shifted over time from being positive to negative and then back to being positive. Currently, I would say that we are going through this coffee influx of appreciation with Starbucks on the rise and all these other like small coffee shops starting up. And coffee has also changed our ecosystems and our human environment. So pretty much coffee has caused us to physically take plants and move them across the world, creating different biomes, different species, and also extinctions of some species as a result. So that's kind of a human impact that we have done. So now you guys are going to get in small groups and kind of start, I want to hear you guys and what you have to say to one another. I'll add a comment if I need to, or if anything gets inappropriate. But I want you to guys start answering these questions with one another. I can read them to you. So face each other. You guys don't actually have to move if you guys just want to talk. But your first question is, why do you think coffee is so influential?
Globalized thing. I don't know. It's all over the
What?
world. First question. It's like a global.
It's why is coffee so influential? So why do you guys like coffee? If you got, or why don't you like coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
And why is that?
Don't want to become dependent on the caffeine.
Okay, so there's an element of dependency. All right. Do you drink coffee, June?
Yes, I do.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
What do you
I've
like?
gotten used to it. I used to not,
Okay.
then when I got busier, and then more curiosity, myself having more.
So it's about productivity,
Mhm.
dependency, and then Ethan, do you drink coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Is it flavor? Is it?
It's not really flavor, but it's getting stuff done.
Would you guys make an argument it's easier to drink coffee when you're around other people drinking coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Do you think it's
Same reason.
peer pressure?
Yeah.
So we talked about productivity,
Group culture.
dependency, and possibly that social element. Do we think that coffee, do we see why it could have been banned?
Yeah.
What else is that associated with? Dependency can make you more productive, and typically it's a social factor. A lot of times we see that with drugs in our culture. So coffee is influential mainly because of those dependency factors, the socialization factors, but also the productivity factor. And do you think there's a commodity that currently exists that is similar to that?
Adderall.
Okay, all right. So you think Adderall is the closest thing you can find? Why is that?
It does pretty much, well, I don't really use it, but it does pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Gets you busy, you know,
Do
makes
you-
you less hungry, I don't know,
Okay.
not speaking from experience.
So do you think there will ever be something as globally influential as coffee? It doesn't even have to deal with the topic of coffee. Like I think smartphones are probably as
Yeah.
influential.
You know,
Would you argue that's a dependency to a degree?
Oh, yeah.
Does it make you more productive?
depends on.
Yeah.
It's the ability to, right? And then would you argue that you might want to use your phones more if your friends are on your phone?
Yeah, for sure.
And then, how do you think the physical space of coffee alters our perception? So being in a coffee house, do you think that it puts a certain mood? Why would people go to a coffee house?
It's a social
Yeah.
environment
Exactly.
where you can just sit down and talk.
And be
Comfortable.
comfortable, productive, and still get your dependency, right? So yeah, for you guys' homework, I just want you to go home and watch that video that I talked about earlier. That's pretty much our lecture today for coffee. So. Okay, great.